This is a fake ad I made for a product that does not exist. But what does it take to make an ad that looks like it belongs on a billboard? Or how do you design a product from scratch? In this video, I'll be designing the product itself, creating a brand name, and making an elegant banner all from the ground up. I've always wondered, what would it take to create one of those banner ads you see in, I don't know, Times Square or Dundas Square? So, instead of just wondering, I decided to find out. I was going to be recreating one of those banner ads myself, but first, I needed a plan. The first problem I had was to pick the product that I would want to make an ad for. It had to be elegant, luxurious, and expensive. In order to decide, I started looking at a bunch of ads on billboards. Food? Nah, we can do better. Oh, whiskey. That could be interesting. Cars. No, I'm not modeling a car. I could do something with jewelry. Maybe. This could work. Yeah, I could do a perfume. The more time I spent looking at banners, the more I started noticing a pattern. A lot of these ads were for perfumes. I mean, look at them. And while perfume ads are elegant, eye-catching, and luxurious, which is exactly what I need. But I couldn't just grab a famous perfume bottle, slap it on a banner, and say it was mine. So now I had to create my own made-up perfume brand. Great. ChatGPT gave me a list of potential names, but they were all kinda boring. I needed a brand name that sounds like something I can't afford. You know, a name so elegant you wouldn't be able to pronounce it properly.
In the beginning, yeah.
After testing some more name generators and being disappointed with all the results, I called in backup. My girl is amazing at coming up with stuff like this. So I asked her for ideas, and it went a little something like this. She came up with the name
Rousseur,
and insisted the perfume itself should be called
Pomme d'amour,
and honestly, she nailed it. It sounds expensive, and I can't pronounce it, so win-win. Next up, I needed a font for my brand new brand name. Okay. GigaChat. Little did I know that this font specifically was going to cause me a problem later on. So now I had the product idea, the perfect name for it, and the font that looked amazing. But I still had nothing to show for it, which means it was time to start creating some 3D models. The perfume's name is
Pomme d'amour,
which in English means apple of love. So I decided to make the perfume bottle in the shape of an apple. I started by finding a cross-section of an apple and tracing its outline. Then I used a screw modifier to give it that 3D apple shape. And boom, apple-shaped perfume bottle. Now, I wasn't quite done yet. I needed a cap. After a quick Google search, I came across these fancy-looking caps called atomizers. So I modeled one of them to match the bottle. Finally, I added a straw. Is it called a straw? I don't know. And with that, the perfume model itself was ready to go. Now, it was time to tackle the text for the label. The font I chose, the one I thought was perfect, decided it wasn't going to cooperate. Why is this breaking? What? For some reason, it wasn't behaving the way it should. So I had to figure out how to fix it. After a bit of searching, I found a thread with the solution. Thank you to these two legends right here. After following all the steps, the font was fixed, and I was finally able to create the labels to finish the model. All that was left now were the textures. Now that the 3D model was complete, it was time to bring the entire composition to life. So, something that I really like to do is use basic shapes to kind of map out the composition before I start modeling. By sort of sketching it, I'll get a rough idea of what I want the final scene to look like. The idea here is that I have a perfume bottle perched on an apple tree branch. Now, just to make everything look better overall, I am using the golden ratio as guides for the camera, and I'm going to line it up something like this. On the left, I want to show the actual tree and maybe a big branch in the background with some apples hanging off of it. So, yeah, like that. I'll also add some smaller branches around here. Yeah, that should be good. I'll also scatter some leaves everywhere just to add some contrast and make it feel more organic, of course. With the plan in place, I got to work modeling the tree and the branch where the bottle would sit. To make it more organic, I sculpted the models, adding subtle details to give them depth and texture. Then I moved on to the leaves, carefully placing them where they felt most natural, adding just the right amount to balance the scene. Finally, I added some apples to hang in the background, making sure they looked realistic, yet didn't distract from the star of the show. Once all the modeling was done, I textured everything to give it that rich, lifelike quality. I used an HDRI to add depth and realism to the scene, making sure every detail stood out. And there you have it. Now you know what it takes to create one of those luxury banner ads you see on billboards. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and see you in the next one.